that you can see, yeah, the differentiating. Be trying to do the two to work through 12E and 12F over the next 2 lessons plus the time until our 3rd lesson. This should all hopefully just be revision from IGCSE. Harry, I appreciate you didn't do it, so it would be new for you, but there isn't anything that the rest of you shouldn't be familiar with. So can somebody just double check, just let me know that you can hear me. I know you can see me. Can somebody just confirm you can hear me all right, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool. So looking at this slide, literally all that gobbledygook at the top is telling you is that you just differentiate each term in turn. Okay, so looking at example 8, if we've got to differentiate 4x cubed plus 2x, you just start off by differentiating 4x cubed, and remember, how do you differentiate? Step 1, you multiply by the current power, so 3 4s are 12, and then step 2, you reduce the power by 1, so the 3 becomes 2. So when you differentiate 4x cubed, you get 12x squared. And then the new bit is you then just move on to the next term and differentiate that. So 2x becomes 2. So for part B, you're going to differentiate term 1, then term 2, then term 3. For part C, differentiate term 1 and then term 2. So these here, this example 8, you haven't had to do any preliminary work. They're all ready to differentiate. They're all in the nice format that just allows you to multiply by the power, reduce the power by 1. So that was the example 8. And then, okay, with example 9, it's a bit like we were doing before. You've just got to get ready to differentiate, okay? So 1 over 4 root x, 1 over 4 is a quarter, and root x on the denominator, you take that upstairs, so that's why it's become a minus, and then remember root x just means to the power of a half. So you've got to be confident that 1 over 4 root x, you can work out that that is a quarter of an x to the power of minus a half. So this is getting ready to differentiate. This is still what y equals. And then really the easier bit then, once you've got ready to differentiate, you just go through the differentiating process. So we've got step 1, we've multiplied by the current power, minus a half times a quarter is minus an 8. In step 2, we've reduced the power by 1. Minus a half becomes minus 3 over 2. Now for part B, until we get to upper sixth, you haven't learned how to differentiate two things being multiplied together. So you've got to do a preliminary work here and just do the claw, multiply out the bracket. So x cubed times 3x becomes 3x to the power of 4. And then our second claw, x cubed times plus 1 is plus x cubed. So that's getting ready to differentiate. And then when we differentiate that, so for each of these two terms, step 1 multiplied by the current power, step 2 reduce the power by 1. And that gave us that. That would be absolutely fine as a final answer. They've just chosen to factorize it. And then example C, where you've got one like this, just go and put both of the terms in the numerator over the denominator. Break it down into two separate terms. So x over x squared is, when you divide 3 by x, is 1 over x. And then minus 2 over x squared becomes our second term. So we're breaking it down into two separate terms. We then take everything upstairs, if you like. So 1 over x becomes x to the minus 1, and minus 2 over x squared becomes minus 2 times x to the power of minus 2. So all of that has been getting us ready to differentiate. And then step 2, differentiate it. So the easy bit, each of those two terms, step 1, multiply by the current power, and step 2, reduce the power by 1. So guys, that takes us into exercise 12E. So just to repeat what I said before, this is just going to be exactly like our normal lesson now. I'm going to stop recording in a minute. You're very welcome to put your cameras on if you want. You're very welcome to unmute if you want. Totally up to you. and then we're just going to be working through exercise 12E. I'll be doing the same. As you can see at the moment, all I've got is the copied and pasted answers out of the work solutions. I want to work through these in my own fair hand. And then as you guys are doing it for the rest of this lesson, just feel free to just speak up, because I'll be listening all the time, and just say, look, can you put 1B on the board? Can you put 2C on the board? Just like we're in lessons. If you do work outside this live lesson, please don't think that I'm not still available. I'm very happy for you to just go and send me a message on Teams. Teams would be better than email. And just say, look, I can't do question 3C. And then I can either pop together a little video and send it through to you, or I might see if there's a convenient time for us to very quickly go live one-to-one, and I'll record it so everyone else can see it. So please don't feel that you can only get in touch with me during our live lessons. You know, again, I'd like you to think it's just like school. You know, if we were at school, there's no reason you can just pop in and see me at a break or at a lunchtime if you had a query. So I want it to be just like normal, okay? Obviously, if I'm in the middle of another live lesson, you're going to have to wait a bit for me to get back to you, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So has anybody got any queries about just how these lessons are going to work? Cool. Okay. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to stop the recording. You guys start working on this. And as I said, I'm stopping the recording, but I won't be stopping the actual lesson itself. So I can still hear you. You can still hear me if you want to. So if you just get on with the action. So we can work through all of 12E, please. And then I'm thinking tomorrow's lesson, Friday's lesson, we'll carry on working on 12E to start with. And then partway through the lesson, I'll interrupt you all. I'll introduce you to 12F, and then you can, those of you working faster can move on to 12F. Obviously, if any of you get 12E finished today, let me know, and I'll do the teaching right at the beginning of tomorrow's lesson. Okay, right, I'm going to stop recording now, and you guys get on with the work, please.